Okay, so I just finished watching episode 4 of Daredevil Born Again, and I'm finally ready to talk about this show. Daredevil, alongside Spider-Man and Batman, is one of my favorite fictional characters of all time, and as a massive fan of the Netflix show, I had insanely high expectations for Born Again on Disney+. I loved the first 2 episodes that premiered a few weeks ago, but wanted to wait for a couple more episodes to release before I made a video discussing my thoughts on the show. After 4 episodes, I can confidently say that this show is without a doubt a worthy follow-up to the masterpiece that came before it. Now yes, of course it has its problems here and there, but honestly, they weren't really that noticeable to me, so I won't really spend much time talking about them in this video. I'm just super excited to finally be getting some peak Daredevil content again, and really just want to rave about what I love, what I like, and what I want to see get explored more in future episodes. The first thing I want to discuss is the controversial start to the series with the death of Foggy Nelson. I can understand why a lot of people would be frustrated with this decision, as it basically not only wrote out Foggy from the show, but also Karen. And yeah, I get it, they are fan favorite characters from the original show, and I loved Foggy too, but I personally loved the way they handled his death, so the opening of the show really worked for me. The scene was so well directed. I thought it was so sick how Hell's Kitchen was being shot, and the show gave us just a little taste of the classic trio dynamic, just to rip it away moments later. I was honestly a little put off by the wonky CGI in this scene, but the emotion and the aura of Bullseye was enough to make me forget about it. Foggy getting shot wasn't even the most shocking part in this scene either. It was Matt attempting to kill Dex by pushing him off the building. The acting, everything, it was just so brutal. So yeah, I'm totally cool with the death of Foggy. I just want Matt to acknowledge it a bit more, because there was like a 1-year time skip right after, so we never really got time to mourn. But luckily in episode 4 we got some more of that in the scene with Frank. The character writing for Matt has been top tier. I think it was genius to have him retire from being Daredevil because of Foggy's death. You can really see that he is trying to put that life behind him and let the system take care of justice, but in each episode we see Matt begin to crack as he struggles to hold back the devil, because the system is just too broken. The Kingpin stuff is also great, and is taking major inspiration from Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run where Fisk was the mayor, which I'm super pumped about because that's one of my favorite comic book runs like ever. What's really fun about Kingpin here is that he is just completely out of his element. In the original show, he was like an aggressive dog off his leash, able to do whatever he wanted from the shadows with no consequences. But now he is a public political figure and is being forced to play by the rules. He is actually paralleling Matt in a really cool way, because he is also getting frustrated with the government systems, and is slowly beginning to crack as well. While Matt is trying to have belief in the system and use it for good, Fisk is trying to change it to align more with his personality and his vision. The side characters surrounding both Matt and Kingpin are very compelling, and I'm really intrigued to see where their stories lead. Especially Daniel. It feels like he has really earned the respect of Fisk and is slowly getting a more powerful role than his boss, who is constantly contesting Fisk as she wants to do things in a traditional bureaucratic way. I feel like something bad is going to happen here. I don't know though, I don't know what it is, but I just know that Wilson Fisk will make sure he gets his way by any means necessary, so she better watch out. I think those strong parallels between Matt and Fisk are the foundation for the show, and it is what makes it so compelling. Like, the symbolism in the final scene of episode 1 was so good. Seeing Matt depressed and angry, covered in red lighting after Fisk won the election, looking up as we see Fisk smiling and looking down upon him and the city. And oh yeah, that absolute banger of a song, Staring at the Sun. I've had that shit on repeat for the last few weeks. I think so far, episode 3 has been my favorite. This was the one with the least amount of action, but damn man, that courtroom drama was so good. This was so well written and genuinely had my heart racing throughout the entire episode, especially when they were announcing the verdict for Hector. I grew up watching the female White Tiger in the Ultimate Spider-Man show, so I was somewhat familiar with the character, but he was really cool, and that ending was just so brutal, leaving my jaw on the floor when the credits rolled. Disney Plus Marvel shows can often feel safe and a bit neutered, but I'm really happy to say that this doesn't feel like that at all. Born Again is truly great dramatic superhero storytelling. The perfect example of this is in episode 4 when we finally get to see John Bernthal's Punisher back on screen. This whole exchange between Matt and Frank was genuinely some of the best written and acted dialogue in the entire MCU, and left me shedding a few tears. We really need more scenes between these two because it is just electric anytime they are on screen together. Something subtle Born Again is doing really well is making it feel a bit more like a comic book world. It's not going too far in making the world feel goofy, but it's just the small things that matter. Like having graffiti of characters like the Punisher and Muse around the buildings of Hell's Kitchen, and showing news footage of White Tiger stopping a robbery. Those little details help Born Again establish itself as part of the MCU, but still keep it gritty and grounded. The biggest thing that I personally want to see further explored in future episodes is Matt's Catholicism. It is such a major part of his character and gave us some of the most well-written, compelling character writing in the original series. We've seen hints of it with Matt staring at the church across the street and wearing the cross on his neck, but I definitely want to see a bit more of that. I kind of have a theory that Matt is avoiding the church because he's still angry about Foggy's death, which could have splintered his relationship with God. So if that's the case, I can't wait to see how that gets dealt with. So yeah, overall I'm absolutely loving Born Again. I can't wait to see Matt and Fisk further develop and eventually let their demons out. And I'm super excited to see more Muse because he looks absolutely terrifying. As I said before, I'm a huge fan of the original series. It's a masterpiece in my book, but honestly, I think Born Again is off to a stronger start than season 1 was. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the first 4 episodes of Born Again. I may make another video covering the rest of the show when it wraps up, so stay tuned for that and other Daredevil/comic book content. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the show in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.